Welcome to the NRL previews for round 27 of the 2023 season. I'm Renee Gartner and joined by Josh Mansour to unpack all the games this week as the top 8 battle goes down to the wire in our final week before the finals.
Crazy.
Some huge outs across all the 16 sides, and we kick off on Thursday night with an absolute cracker. It's the Broncos looking to secure the minor premiership, but it's not going to be an easy task. They're up against the Storm, Josh. To the Broncos first, so they missed 2 key personnel last week in both Carrigan and also Reynolds as well too. They're out as well, but so are quite a big bag of players from the Broncos as well, but a fresh start.
Yeah, a lot of fresh faces this week, you said it. But I feel like with Adam's extra week off, I feel like it would really do him well for heading into the finals. I feel like Carrigan as well, obviously off the back of the World Cup, Origin, just 1 week to freshen him up. He's been outstanding for him, and yeah, with the Broncos, coming up against another heavyweight in the Melbourne Storm, a lot of similarities. They do both have possess a lot of X factor, but with the Broncos, I feel like they've got a big opportunity to get in that minor premiership with a win. So I'm sure they'll do their best to get that. Yeah,
well, we look over to the Storm now as well too. Pappenhausen wearing the number 1 jersey for the first time since his injury last year, but they do lose Hughes. This is another team with a host of debutantes, a host of changes and 2 debutants, I should say.
I think both coaches called each other up in a handshake agreement. Let's field the team, rest some players. But yeah, great to see Pappenhausen back. Obviously a horrific injury, and obviously so brave to come back and get back on the footy field. The Melbourne medical staff have done an amazing job with him. But obviously he possesses a lot of X factor himself. So obviously Craig Bellamy, he's got the luxury to kind of chance his arm, get him a bit of match fitness heading to the finals, because I'm sure he's going to be a game breaker heading to this last 4 weeks.
Taking into account all the changes, who do you see taking this one out?
It's a roll of the dice for me. It's going to be a very hard one. I feel like I'm leaning towards the Broncos, just for like the minor premiership reason. I feel like it's a massive accolade to have, particularly with the last couple of years with the Broncos. There was a lot of pressure on Kevy. The Broncos showed their faith in him, put all their trust in his process and his vision, and it looks like it's paying dividends. So I like the Broncos.
All right, well there you had it. It's the first time since Kevy Walters when he was a player in year 2000, so it could be huge. All right, unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. If you want to see this match live, head to nrl.com/tickets. If you can't get to this game, you can watch it on Channel 9, Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kick-off is at 7:50 p.m. Welcome to NRL previews for round 27 of the 23 season. I'm Renee Gartner and I'm joined by Josh Mansour to unpack all the games this week. Next up, it's Friday night footy and the final round of NRL for both Manly and West Tigers. But pride is still on the line as they set up for 2024. It's what it's all about on Friday night. You can't look past the man who bleeds maroon and white when it comes to clubland. Blue when he's in New South Wales. 200 NRL games and 200 for Manly. Do Manly need any more motivation than the man who has more morale than you can possibly?
He has to be the most loved character in the NRL, Jakey. There's not a bad bone in his body, and 200 games for one club as well. Massive achievement. He bleeds maroon and white. I'm sure you know that, being a Manly fan. So to see Jakey out there, all the best in the 200 game, but I'm sure the boys are going to get up for it.
Just gave the all the best, the Jakey thumbs up.
Oh, no, that's where I got it from.
Hey, how good's Cooler been at fullback as well too? He's been outstanding there.
Outstanding. He's got so much pace. It looks like he just covers ground with so much ease. But obviously that number 1 position has been a bit of a curse for Manly Seagulls this year, but they keep finding solutions for that. Obviously, look at that. Just a breakaway try here. Not good on his back. But with Cooler, I feel like he is a good solution for them, and going forward, he just adds that versatility in his game.
And then add the amazing moment, the young debutant as well too in Gordon. The smile is so infectious. Honestly. He just looked like he was having a ball out there. Best fan base. Honestly. He goes again this week.
I actually played against him in cup level, so yeah, he's a very good player to play up against, and it looks like he deserves his shot. You can just tell the Manly Seagulls getting around him after that conversion. It was just awesome to see, and obviously his family and friends in the stand as well supporting him along the way. So another game for him, and all the best. All
right, well let's head over to the West Tigers. They'll be looking to claw their way off the bottom of the ladder with a win. They get Alex Twal back. They also get Jake Simpkin back as well too, plus another 2 debutants coming into this side.
It's debutants this week in NRL, but obviously congratulations to those 2 boys. But with Alex Twal back, is a massive in for me. He does so much dirty work for the West Tigers, and I feel like it's going to be a massive plus for their middles. Tristan has been outstanding in the centres as well. He's really making that centre spot his own, and I'm sure he's got a big future heading into next year. But for the Tigers as well, they want to go out with pride. Obviously with Benji taking the reins next year, so there's a lot of positions up for grabs. But for me, it looks like like Benji's given everyone an opportunity to kind of make that position their own for next year.
Do you reckon Twal can bag his second try?
I bloody hope so, because he deserves it. He works so bloody hard. I know Twali very well, so I really hope he gets that second try and a win on a positive note.
Okay, so you're on West Tigers bandwagon.
I wouldn't say I'm on their bandwagon. I know Paulie won't like that, but I feel like Manly Seagulls for the win this week.
Okay, if you want to find out what Paulie G likes, he does have footy fantasy on this week too on NRL.com, but it is unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. If you want to see this match live, head to NRL.com/tickets. If you can't get to this game though, you can watch it on Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kick-off is at 6 p.m. Welcome to NRL previews for round 27 of the 23 season. I'm Renee Gartner and I'm joined by Josh Mansour to unpack all the games this week as the top 8 battle goes down to the wire in our final week before the finals. This next game belongs to a rivalry that needs very little introduction.
What a game.
It's going to be so good. It's South and Roosters going head to head. Now we add some extra heat though as well too, because both sides need to win to stay in this top 8. South will go first. They return to life without Latrell. Blake Taff steps in for suspended Latrell. He's been very commendable back in fullback.
Yeah, very reliable Blake Taff has been ever since he's put on that number 1 jersey for the Rabbitohs. Obviously a big loss not having Latrell on the side. He always aims up when he comes up against his former side, the Roosters, alongside his teammates. But this clash has got everything in it. Obviously last week, a very disruptive week for the Rabbitohs, but what a storyline this could be if they win this game. You know, the massive opportunity for the boys to really get together this week, really hammer down, and obviously it's up to the coach to get these guys ready up. And you don't really need added motivation to come up against the Roosters if you're a Bunnies player. So for me, it's going to have a lot of fireworks, and I can't wait.
I know you know all about it as well too, but let's have a look at the Roosters. It's a pretty simple equation: win and you're in the finals. Right. They've won their last 4 on the trot. They get Teddy back as well too. Manu's been named, but he's carrying a bit of a hamstring injury as well too. I know we know this is a rivalry and everyone lifts and everyone boosts, but with that sort of injury cloud hanging over Manu's head, and I know Teddy's back, how do you see it playing out?
Yeah, with Joey, I saw the game last week with Joey Manu, obviously with a little hamstring complaint. I feel like he does add a lot to their attack, so it would be a massive loss, particularly Jared Hargraves up in the middle. He's their biggest enforcer, so they do have 2 big losses if Joey does not play. But it seems like the Roosters have finally hit their straps. You know, early this year they had massive hype on their shoulders. You know, they have a star-studded lineup, but finally it looks like that's kicked into gear towards the back end of the season. So do-or-die clash for both teams, a lot to play for. Yeah, I just can't wait to watch this game.
All right, we know what your heart says. Yeah. What does your head say?
I'm going to stick with the Bunnies.
Okay.
I feel like, again, there's a massive opportunity for the boys to really aim up here. I know one thing, they do hate the Roosters. They will be preparing and putting their best foot forward this week. So as a Bunny man, I'm going to support the Bunnies.
You just put your cards on the table and how you feel about the Roosters.
Exactly
so thanks for that, Josh. Unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. Tickets for this one are selling fast. So if you haven't already got your hands on some, head to NRL.com/tickets. If you can't get to this game though, you can watch it across Channel 9, Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kick-off is at 8 p.m. Welcome to NRL previews for round 27 of the 2023 season. I'm Renee Gartner and I'm joined by Josh Mansour to unpack all the games this week. Saturday afternoon, it begins with the Dolphins and Warriors at Suncorp Stadium. He's already doing the fins up. The Dolphins, they haven't tasted victory since mid-July, but up until round 26, they had the least amount of errors in the NRL. But last week, I think it was 13 errors, 64% completion rate. Not something that Wayne would have liked. Yeah,
I know one thing for sure, Wayne hates errors in his game plan. But again, massive stat, awesome stat to have, but obviously disappointing last week. There was a lot of hype around the Dolphins heading into this season. They played really well up until those massive injuries that really hampered their performances. But again, if they can finish strong, it will definitely go a long way leading into pre-season, hopefully starting again strong like they did this year, next year.
All right, well, let's look over to the Warriors. They can't finish any higher than 3rd, but a loss could mean they slip to 4th. Even still, they've elected to rest some of their biggest names across the park as well.
Yeah, I have to agree with Andrew Webster on that one. I think the Warriors have been playing with a lot of intensity, and I feel like these players in particular with Shans covers a lot of ground. I feel like the rest is going to really prove vital coming to the finals for him. Obviously, a new makeshift in the halves as well. Tamari back, massive inclusion for me, coming off of that leg break, and Ronald Volkman. So I feel like giving the rest of the old senior heads as well with Sean Johnson. I know he's been playing like a fine wine this year, but will go a long way to keep him fresh for the finals.
When you talk about freshening up players, I know a lot of people, probably fans at home, are getting a bit frustrated with so many players rested, but they know they're in the finals, they're ready to go, they're freshening up, because it's like another season, right?
Yeah, of course. I feel like the next block, teams will be looking at these next 4 weeks, like you said, a whole new season. The intensity's got to go up, the speed of the game's got to go up, so I'm sure the coaches are aware of that, particularly the strength and conditioning staff, but for me, it's all about strategy. I know you look at the guys that the players getting rested this week at the Warriors, they've played pretty much consistently all year. Tohu Harris and Chance had a couple of games missing, but again, they do so much work for the Warriors, and going forward, I feel like this rest is going to prove vital for them.
All right, you still think Warriors are going to take this one?
Yeah, I still feel like the Warriors will take this one. I feel like going to every single game, they put their best foot forward. So I feel like the Warriors, they will be going into this game looking for the 2 points, and hopefully they will project them for next week, and hopefully they can finish the year on a positive note.
All right, so you're going the Wires?
I'm going to the Wires. Is that right?
All right, you don't know how many times we took to learn that. Unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. If you want to see this match live, head to nrl.com/tickets. If you can't get to the game, you can watch it on Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. Welcome to the NRL previews for round 27 of the 23 season. I'm Renee Gartner and I'm joined by Josh Mansour to unpack all this week's games. The top 8 battle goes down to the wire in our final week before the finals. And this Saturday we're seeing David take on Goliath as the Panthers host the Cowboys, who basically need a win here to get across the line. This game goes a long way for them to sort of come into the season. We know in the past how they've played. They don't go without a fight as well too. But we're going to go to the Panthers first. They'll know before kick-off if the minor premierships is still up for grabs and there to take. But a shock defeat last week to the Eels, and we've kind of seen them fall away in the last couple of matches as well too, to not be the Panthers that we've seen in the past. Yeah,
they hit a bit of a lull as of late, but I feel like it's not alarm bells just yet. I feel like with the Panthers, they love playing in their own terms. They love versing teams that are scripted and structured, and the Parramatta Eels last week just didn't do that. They just played unscripted footy, and it just caught Panthers off guard. And I feel like there's still a lot of shining lights in Panthers' system. Last week, they did rest a lot of players. They got Taruva back this week. They got Isaac Tago on the extended bench, who's been out for a lengthy period of time, but they also got Jerome out, which is a massive loss in my opinion. I feel like he adds a lot to their unstructured style of footy for the Panthers. So with Jack Cogger in there, I feel like it's a good opportunity to kind of get the Panthers to kind of gel and see how he plays, and hopefully him and Nathan can really accommodate each other.
Yeah, and they've named a strong lineup as well too, so that they're ready to come in this all guns blazing as well too. Over to the Cowboys though, this time last year the two met in remarkably similar circumstances that basically helped North Queensland to reach that top 4 spot. Now this time around it's to scrape into that top 8, so we know they're going to come with the intensity in this game.
Yeah, up and down season for the Cowboys, but it's again another do or die clash. They need to go out there and they need to chance their arm as much as they can. They've got to take a leaf out of the booklet of the Parramatta Eels as they beat the Panthers last week. So I feel like they have the game plan to unsettle the Panthers this week. The Panthers are fighting for that minor premiership, which I'm sure they would want to have, and obviously want to go on a positive note heading to the finals. But the Cowboys really need to go out there and throw everything at them. They've got nothing to lose, or they've got everything to lose, I should say, with that top 8 finish. But for me, the Cowboys do have the game plan. They can do it. They really can.
Okay, will they?
Yeah, that's a very good question. The Panthers, like I said, they have been lacking a bit of confidence, but they do have a lot of ins this week, which I'm sure is going to go a long way and win this game. So I feel like the Panthers are going to win on a positive note and in the season leading to the finals.
All right, and sticking with these guns as well too. Unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. If you want to see this match live, head to nrl.com/tickets. And if you can't get to this game, you can watch it on Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kickoff is at 5:30 p.m. Welcome to the NRL previews for round 27 of the 23 season. I'm Renee Gartner and I'm joined by Josh Mansour to unpack this weekend's games. Saturday night, and the Knights head south away from the comfort of their sellout home crowds. They're taking on the Dragons and look to make it 9 in a row. The Dragons have actually pushed many of our top 8s this year, but not quite enough to get the 2 points.
No, but I've got to commend Ryan Carr, interim coach for the Dragons. He's absolutely been getting the boys aiming up every single week. So there has been a lot of disruption for the Dragons this year, but the boys look like they've been playing with a lot of pride. There's obviously a bit of excitement with the Dragons with Shane Flanagan's arrival for next year. So for me, I feel like the Dragons have been in most of their games, particularly against the top 4 sides that they've come against. All
right, well, let's look over to the Knights. Big talking point is no Kalen Ponga. Obviously a smart move not to risk him.
For sure.
But with him and Gagai out, it's still a pretty formidable back 5. Lachlan Miller, we know, he's amazing at fullback, but that back 5 is powerful.
It's probably the most informed back 5 in the comp at the moment. And like you said, 9 in a row. it's a massive leap from where the Knights were early this year. I feel like they've got the game plan pretty much nutted out now. Obviously, Kalen Ponga, he's been their shining light, but obviously with that hit on him, I feel like the added week will just help him leading into the finals. But yeah, the Knights have, they've got that nucleus in place. They know what they want, how they want to play. They know what they're doing, and I feel like there'll be a bit of a bogey side heading into these finals.
All right, they're going to make it 10 in a row?
I feel like it's a bit of a danger game. I feel like St George would like to finish on a high. They are playing down at Wynn Stadium. They like playing down there. But let's just go for the Newcastle Knights for this one.
Okay, nice and easy. Thank you, Josh. Unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. If you want to see the match live, head to nrl.com/tickets. If you can't get to the game, you can watch this one on Channel 9, Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kick-off is at 7:35 p.m. Welcome to the NRL previews for round 27 of the 23 season. I'm Renee Gardner and I'm joined by Josh Mansour to unpack all this weekend's games. The next game sees two teams playing for pride as the Titans host the Bulldogs on the Gold Coast. The Titans haven't reached their potential this year, I don't think, but they've got one last game to run ahead of their new year, new coach, new Titans.
Yeah, hopefully they can finish the year on a positive note. They obviously they've got some shining lights in their team.
Yeah.
Obviously, David Feeder, Big Tino, good to have 48 back. But again, I feel like consistency they really lacked this year, and particularly their attack. Their attack was definitely outweighing their efforts in defence. So for me, the Titans, they'll go back to the drawing board. Obviously, their last game of the year, so hopefully they can finish on a positive note and obviously go into pre-season on a high.
All right, well, to the Bulldogs, Toby Sexton, he'll face off against his former club after a mid-season trade, and the Bulldogs will be looking to make it 2 from 2 against the Titans as they want to put 2023 behind them.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, a bit of a disappointing year for the Bulldogs. I feel like it was always going to be a work in progress.
Yeah.
You weren't going to get massive jumps on the ladder with them this year. Obviously, Ciro wants to implement on the way he wants the Bulldogs to play. He definitely wants the old dogs of war to come back into his system and in the culture of the club. So it was always a work in progress for the Bulldogs, but again, they did get the Titans early in the season. Hopefully they can get them again. And again, like you said, a lot up for grabs in terms of pride, so hopefully they can go up there and unsettle the Titans.
Yeah, and I'm sure both sides are looking forward to an injury-free 2024. Unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. If you want to see this match live, head to nrl.com/tickets. If you can't get to the game, you can watch it on Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kick-off is at 2 p.m. Welcome to the NRL previews for round 27 of the 23 season. I'm Renee Gardner, joined by Josh Mansour to unpack all the games this week as the top 8 battle goes down to the wire in our final week before finals. Now, Josh, we wrap up the round on Sunday with a game that could reap ramifications over the final spots of the top 8. It's the Sharks hosting the Raiders at PointsBet Stadium. Now, let me explain this, how tight it really is. If the Knights lose to the Dragons on Saturday night, the Sharks and Raiders will be squaring off for 5th place and a home final in week 1 of the playoffs.
Massive.
Should the Cowboys beat the Panthers and then the Knights beat the Dragons, the Raiders could actually drop out of the 8 altogether with a loss giving their inferior points differential. So, Josh, what is 4? No, I'm joking. Nicho Hynes, he's back in the mix, and Fitzgibbon has named his strongest lineup coming into this game.
Yep.
They're going to be looking for that bounce back from the loss last week as well.
Yeah, disappointing loss last week, but they get Nicho Hynes back, which is a massive in for me. A lot to play for in this game, obviously, so hopefully they can go out there and make a good performance of it. The Sharkies, they do possess a lot of X factor about them. Connor Tracy's been outstanding. I've been saying it all year, and they do got the Raiders at a good time. Raiders are a bit, they've hit a bit of a lull, but hopefully the Sharks can really go out there and make a big performance leading to the finals.
All right, so over to the Raiders. They're under a little bit more pressure given that big rundown that I just gave. Their points differential has been their biggest drama as well too. They also lose 2 of their big men in Papali'i and Horsburgh as well. So 2 massive outs. Yeah,
massive outs. They do have Puri making his debut on the bench. Actually played with his twin brother Niwa, so big congratulations to him. He'll definitely add a bit of go forward and a bit of direction through the middle there in replace of Corey Horsburgh, who's been playing outstanding this year. Obviously playing, having the opportunity to play in Origin as well. For the Raiders, they need to go back to playing their own style footy, the aggressive, hard-nosed style, the Raiders footy that we all love to see. And again, the Raiders do have a game plan that can unsettle every team in the NRL, in my opinion. But like you said, their points differential definitely hurts them. But again, a lot to play for. That 5th position is vital, getting that home finals game.
It's probably one of the best options options that we could see wrapping up Sunday. I'm going to be glued to the TV for this last game. Who are you picking? Make it quick.
I want to take the Sharks. I feel like they'll definitely finish on a positive.
All right. Thank you very much, Josh. I appreciate this weekend's rundowns. Unmissable matchups taking place all weekend. Tickets for this one are selling fast. So if you want to see this match live, head to nrl.com/tickets. If you can't get to the game, you can watch it on Channel 9, Foxtel, Sky New Zealand or KO. Kick-off is at 4:05 p.m.